So I just had a session with a client, and a lot of it was based around religious programming and the religious trauma that follows you, especially as you open up to your spirituality and to the truth of who you really are. And honestly, this is one of the greatest programs that I feel like actually reflects and ripples out into many different sectors and many different ways and layers of the being that so many people have. And now I actually didn't have this programming. I wasn't raised religious, and although I do have a very strong connection to Jesus, Yeshua, and to the Christ energy, the Christ consciousness, I wasn't raised Christian or Catholic, so I actually didn't have the religious programming that so many people do. However, a part of my spiritual journey has actually been connecting to Jesus and to the Christ energies from a space of not having that programming and really being able to receive those codes without all of the distortion. I have been divinely guided to be a guide to assist so many people through their religious programming. So with that, I've gotten to see the real true depth of this programming and what it does to people, limiting them and preventing them and even demonizing them, creating this perspective that they are wrong and even evil, which really is just like a terrible frequency to implement into people. So I'm just going to be bringing to light a lot of these awarenesses and take what resonates. So we're just going to start at like the core of it. And I feel like one of the biggest pieces of religious programming people have to work through is the witch energy. That magic is bad. All right, first of all, just so you know, Jesus actually, his mission, his message was literally, we are all magic. We all have the ability to heal within us, and we all have the ability to heal others. We are all connected to this light, to Christ consciousness. We are all a being of God. We are all the channel of light. We are all the sons and daughters of God, creation, creator energy. Jesus' message was not that he's the only one. It was not. And with that, Jesus was magic. He had the ability to heal. He himself was a wizard. And for women, that's called a witch. So this whole demonization over witches and magic, that is not Jesus's message. Jesus's message was actually that you have the power within you. And then if we think about what happened to Jesus, he was made to believe he was this evil thing and he was this sinner, so they killed him. And so now the churches have this representation where there's this dead corpse that they're all praying to. Think about that, praying to this dead body, pretend to eat his body with some bread and then drinking his blood. Literally, that is like a satanic ritual, I just want to say. And there is a significant difference between Satanism and witchcraft. They are not the same thing. Witchcraft and paganism, of course, there are different layers and levels to everything, but that is a term for being connected to the earth, to the elements, to your own power, your own energy and essence. That is what witchcraft is. It is the ability to do as Jesus was trying to teach and to have your own magic, your own power, and to yield that, to utilize what God gave us, the earth elements, together with our own energy and essence, also God's creation, and to combine that to create and manifest magic. That is Jesus's way. That is his teaching. It's for all of us to be that way ourselves, that we can all do it. So this whole demonization of witches by the church is just to prevent you from being in your power. The churches would prefer for you to be disempowered and to feel like you are this sinner, you've done wrong, you just were born doing wrong, and you have to redeem yourself through these set systems that the church has implemented, and if not, then you are a sinner. You have to repent, you have to claim yourself as this negative being, which that is not a good frequency. The church wants the control. The church doesn't want for you to be empowered. So that's why they will demonize and make you feel like you are evil for claiming your power, for actually utilizing your God-given ability to create magic, to manifest, to bring light from your own source, and to be connected, directly connected to God. That is a lot more powerful than needing to go to a pastor or a preacher in order to feel connected to God or to go to some specific church. You have the church, you are the church. You are the church, and you have the pastor, the preacher, God, the channel within you. The teachings actually are within you, and you are a lot more connected than you know. And with all this too, I'm actually very neutral about it, because I do love the fact that churches exist in the sense that people are connecting to spirituality, to a higher power, to God. And Christianity and being Catholic, those have beautiful morals and beautiful values. Some I do not agree with at all, but there are beautiful things within them as well. So I am not at all against it. And I even love to sometimes, if I'm with friends or family members, people who are religious, to go with them to a church mass and to experience that. And often those experiences are so beautiful and so magical, especially when you just go for one time. Now, I could see that if I were to subscribe to all the beliefs and if I were to believe myself as a sinner and everything, that would be completely different and it would feel like a different energy for me, and I would never go along with that, ever. I just never would. But I do love the energy and the essence of it. For example, this client that I just had a session with, she is so powerful. She has so much power and she is magical. She is magic. I'm excited to see who and what and how she becomes, because she has it. She has tapped into it. And if she had continued to let those beliefs concrete into her mind and prevent her from actually accessing her power, then she wouldn't be who she's supposed to be. She wouldn't be able to fulfill her mission, her purpose. And yes, there is always destiny. There's always a divine plan. And really, once you do access your full power, there is nothing that feels as good. There is nothing that brings you the same alignment and joy and clarity. Because when you are in your power, you know what to do. You know what to say. You know where to go. You know how to feel even when you are in your power. And again, that energy is not something that the churches want you to feel, or that society even wants you to feel, because then you are not looking to others for power and you're not seeking solace and seeking your soul in others. And I promise you, the direct connection that you have and you cultivate when you do tap into your full magic and you give yourself full permission to be who and what you are, nothing feels as good. Nothing is as satisfying. Again, that is the reason for you being here, is for you to actually experience yourself and your soul as this being. And then through that energy, you will naturally feel called to assist, to show up, to guide, to help, to build, to create in the ways in which you are meant to. This is the key to it. It's accepting and claiming your truth. Another thing my client mentioned was, how do I know if I'm not putting my will over God's will? As if there are two separate things. Of course, yes, there is an ego, and when you are in a negative or fearful or jealous or lower vibrational state and wanting and creating from that space, then that is most likely off, because that's not the vibration that is actually resonant with your truth. However, when you are in a space of truth, of wanting to do good and create good and to be good, for example, wanting to manifest money, is that my will over God's will? Absolutely not. First of all, you have the will, the desire, because you are a creation of God. That is also God's will and desire within you. We are not separate from God, from source. We actually do have this consciousness within us. We actually are a part of God, and God is a part of us. Therefore, we are never separate from God, ever. Ever. Even in your worst of times, anything you've completely unplugged, you don't feel, there's no state or situation where we are disconnected from God, ever. So your will, if you are in your heart, in your godly space of connection, your will is God's will. And it's also just removing any fear where it's like, even if, well, what if I didn't know if I was in a bad space and I manifested? Clear that. God's will is the most powerful as well. And again, God's will within you is the most powerful. If you are creating a desire or doing something out of an ego space or a lower vibrational space, that won't follow through. That won't work. It won't last. God's will does override everything. Divinity and light does override everything eventually. So it's also knowing that, not being so afraid and fearful. Even with manifesting money. If you are wanting to manifest money so that you can be happier, feel more calm, feel more safe and secure and protected, and so you can do things and create things to be who you really are, and therefore help others, assist others, and be of service and be in light for others and for yourself and for God as a being of God, then that money is divine. That money is divine, and all money really is divine. The demonization on money is just a whole nother story. But knowing that desire to have that abundance so you can be who you really are, that is a will of God. You deserve to be happy, healthy, and supported, not to be in lack or to be a sinner or to feel like you were wrong all the time. You actually need to know that you are a being of light, here to do good, here to be good, so that you can carry through your mission and actually bring through the divinity that you hold within. This work that we're doing, this healing, this spirituality, this is a liberation of lifetimes. And there's even a collective consciousness of religious trauma, of the religious trauma syndrome. That is an actual syndrome that exists now, where people have this anxiety or PTSD, this like outside voice telling them that they are evil or wrong for actually living their life and being who they want to be. It's just this whole manipulation that again creates this collective consciousness where you may be doing divine healing work as Jesus was doing and still have this religious programming of you're evil or something's wrong or you're doing something wrong, even though people are literally healing. You're saving lives, you're empowering lives for lifetimes to come from this work. So the whole reasoning for this video is really just to return you back to your power and to no longer deny and give way to the fallacy that you are not as magical as you truly are, because you are. You do have this power within you. And regardless of what your spirituality journey looks like, maybe you still go to church, maybe you are still a Christian, maybe you are born again Christian from spirituality, maybe you are whatever. Jesus exists, and so do other angels, so do other divine cosmic beings of light, and so does magic. Magic is real. It's time that we stop denying the truth of these actualities, these truths, and instead come to a space to where we can all connect within this love, within this belief of our higher power, whether it does differentiate and look different. So it can look different for everyone, and it really should look different because we are here to bring different medicines and different perspectives and awarenesses so that we can piece them together to create the whole. If you want to hear more on this topic, please let me know in the comments, and I'd also love to hear what came up for you. And as always, sending you so much love, infinite blessings. Namaste.